The entire hall stayed frozen after Jeon Jungkook's words. She is my wife. Even Wyan forgot how to breathe for a second after hearing that. Not because the word was loving, but because of the way he said them, like nobody was allowed to disrespect her in front of him. Jungkook slowly looked towards Jaehyun now, his expression cold enough to make the atmosphere uncomfortable again. Control your wife. Yuri immediately looked offended, but before she could speak, Jungkook continued sharply. Because if she keeps talking like this to Wyan, I won't stay patient next time. Jaehyun's jaw tightened instantly. She is not talking wrong. Jungkook laughed coldly. Oh really? The brothers stared at each other with movements of tension suddenly surfacing between them. Then Jaehyun stepped forward. You can insult me all you want, he said angrily. But don't talk about Yuri like that. Jungkook scoffed. She destroyed. Before he could finish, Jaehyun punched him. Wyan gasped loudly in shock. Jungkook's head turned slightly from the impact. Then slowly, he looked back at Jaehyun. That expression terrified everyone. Within seconds, Jungkook punched him back twice as hard. The fight exploded immediately. Yuri screamed trying to stop them, while furniture shifted loudly from the force of their fighting. Years of brotherhood and trust. Everything crashed out violently now. Stop it. Wyan's voice finally echoed loudly through the hall, broken and shaking. Both men froze slightly. Wyan stood there crying silently now, tears falling continuously while her hands trembled helplessly at her sides. I'm tired. Her voice cracked painfully. Please stop fighting because of me. The sight of her trembling there emotionally shattered somehow calmed the chaos more than anything else. Jungkook stared at her face silently. At the tears she kept wiping away desperately. Without another word, he turned around and walked away, leaving everyone behind in heavy silence. Hours passed like that. The mansion became quieter. Now Wyan stood alone inside the bedroom she was forced to call hers. A few of her suitcases had finally arrived from her old apartment, so silently she started unpacking. One by one she folded clothes carefully into the closet, trying to distract herself. But then her fingers stopped. Because inside one of the bags was a photo frame. It was an old graduation picture. She and Jaehyun standing together smiling brightly while he held flowers for her. Back then everything looked so simple. Wyan stared at the photo silently for a long time, her eyes slowly filling again. Then quietly she opened the frame, took out the picture and slowly tore it into pieces. Then she threw the broken pieces and frame into the dustbin beside the desk, like she was finally burying something, and after that she silently continued arranging her clothes again. But her movements became slower, more tired. A soft no came after some time. Then Jungkook's mother entered carefully. Her eyes immediately noticed the dustbin, the broken frame, the torn photograph. And for a moment, pain crossed the older woman's face too. Without saying anything, she slowly walked towards Wyan and gently held her hands. The small touch alone almost broke Wyan again, because since yesterday, everyone kept pulling her, fighting around her. But this woman simply held her hands quietly. And suddenly, Wyan couldn't stay strong anymore. She slowly laid down on the bed beside Jungkook's mother and buried her face into the older woman's lap like a completely exhausted child. Tears silently soaking the fabric of her dress. I'm so tired, she whispered weakly. Jungkook's mother immediately started caressing her hair gently. Wyan stayed curled quietly beside Jungkook's mother for several long minutes. The older woman continued stroking her hair gently while Wyan tried calming her breathing. The room felt strangely peaceful for the first time since yesterday. Finally, Jungkook's mother spoke softly. You know, fate is strange sometimes. Wyan stayed silent, eyes swollen from crying too much. I truly believed you would become Jaehyun's wife one day, she admitted, sadly. You were kind to him, patient with him. You loved him honestly. A sigh escaped her lips, but life changed overnight. Vian's finger tightened slightly against the bedsheet. It hurts, she whispered. I know, the woman's voice softened immediately. But sometimes what hurts us the most is also what saves us from the wrong people. Vail looked up slightly at that. Jungkook's mother cupped her cheek gently. Jaehyun does not deserve you. The words came without hesitation, without motherly bias. And somehow hearing that from his own mother hurt differently. You loved him with sincerity, she continued quietly, but he kept one foot in the past the entire time. Her eyes filled with disappointment. That is not the kind of man a woman should build her life around. Vian lowered her gaze again silently. The mother gently squeezed her hand, and no matter what happens now, you are not alone here. A faint warm smile appeared on her face. I am here for you. The sincerity in her voice almost made Vian cry again because right now the warmth mattered more than anything. After a few quiet moments, Jungkook's mother suddenly sighed softly, then smiled faintly. And as for Jungkook, Vian immediately looked awkward. The older woman chuckled quietly, noticing her reaction. He looks cold, doesn't he? Vian honestly nodded slightly, which made the woman laugh softly again. He has always been like that, she explained gently. Even as a child, her expression softened with memory. He doesn't speak much, doesn't express affection properly, and when he cares, he became overprotective instead of gentle. Vian listened quietly. But beneath all that, she continued, he has a very loyal heart. A meaningful look crossed her eyes. He would burn the world down for the people he considered his own. Vian thought silently about how he fight Jeon earlier, how angry he became when Yuri insulted her, how he silently placed the bread on her plate. Still, she shook her head weakly. It's not easy. Her voice trembled slightly again. One day I was supposed to marry someone else. She looked down at her hands, and now suddenly I am expected to become his wife. Jungkook's mother nodded understandingly. I know. Then she gently brushed Vian's hair back. This is why I am not asking you to suddenly fall in love. Vian looked at her. Just give this marriage a chance. Her voice became softer, and give Jungkook a chance too. Outside the slightly open bedroom door, Jeon Jungkook stood silently, listening. His expression remained unreadable, but his eyes stayed fixed on the room quietly. Then footsteps approached behind him. A servant respectfully handed him a large luxury shopping bag package. Sir, madam's dress has arrived. Jungkook took the package silently, then finally entered the room. Vian immediately sat up properly from his mother's lap, seeing him. The atmosphere shifted slightly awkward again. Without speaking much, Jungkook simply walked towards the bed and placed the package beside Vian for reception. Vian looked at the expensive packaging silently, then at him. Jungkook's mother looked between them both carefully before smiling faintly. You two are trying too hard to become husband and wife immediately. Both of them looked uncomfortable instantly, so she laughed softly. Start as friends first. That sentence made the room quiet, because neither of them even properly understood each other yet. Talk, she continued wisely. Learn each other slowly. Then she stood up from the bed. No relationship survives without understanding. Before leaving, she gently kissed Vian's forehead once, then looked at Jungkook meaningfully. Take care of her. And with that, she left the room quietly, intentionally giving them privacy. Before Vian could do, he simply grabbed fresh clothes from the wardrobe and heading towards the bathroom, and moments later, the sound of running water echoed softly through the rooms while Vian sat there silently beside the unopened dress box, wondering how two strangers were supposed to learn each other under circumstances like that. Vian sat beside the large dress box for a while before finally opening it slowly, and for the first time that entire day, her breath caught slightly. The gown inside was beautiful, a deep champagne-colored silk dress that flowed softly like liquid gold under the room lights. Not overly flashy, but expensive enough to make her nervous touching it. The back of the dress dipped low, while thin straps rested delicately on the shoulders, and the silk hugging the waist before falling smoothly to the floor. For a moment, Ryan wondered if Jeon Jungkook chooses himself, but then immediately dismissed the thought. He probably told someone else to buy it. After some hesitation, he slowly changes into the ground. The cool silk settled against her skin softly, making her suddenly feel too aware of herself, especially because of the open back. Standing in front of the mirror now, she tried reaching behind herself to pull the zipper up. But the fabric kept getting caught again and again. Seriously? She groaned softly in frustration while trying harder, but the zipper only got more stuck. Completely focused on the dress, she didn't notice the bathroom door opening behind her. Didn't notice Jungkook quietly stepping out wearing black dress pants and an unbuttoned white shirt while drying his damp hair with a towel. And definitely didn't notice him leaning slightly against the wall, watching her struggle. Only when she accidentally looked up into the mirror, she froze. Their eyes met through the reflection. Vine immediately gasped softly and pressed herself against the mirror instinctively to hide her exposed back. Her heart started beating awkwardly. Jungkook's gaze stayed on her for a moment, then he simply walked past her calmly. Vine stiffened automatically, expecting him to say something cold or mock her, or maybe help. She didn't even know anymore. Instead, Jungkook only picked up his expensive perfume bottle from the dresser, sprayed it calmly near his neck, then looked at her sticking to the mirror. Move. Vine blinked in disbelief. What? I said move. His tone stayed flat. Frustration immediately filled her face. No. Jungkook slowly looked towards her now, one eyebrow lifting slightly. I'm serious. Vine snapped awkwardly while still sticking herself against the mirror to hide her back. Don't come near. His eyes narrowed slightly, then his voice became colder. Move, Vine. But she didn't, mostly because if she moved even slightly, her entire back would show. She crossed her arms defensively and glared at him. What? Then added bitterly, are you gonna grip my hair again? The room instantly became quieter. Jungkook's jaw tightened faintly, then suddenly he started walking towards her slowly. Vian's eyes widened immediately. She stepped backward instinctively, until finally her back pressed against the wall beside the mirror instead, covering herself awkwardly. Jungkook stopped directly in front of her now, close enough for her to smell the sharp, expensive scent of his perfume, close enough to make her nervous again. But instead of touching her, he only looked at her calmly. There's no need to grip you when you're a scaredy cat without even doing anything. Then without another glance, he simply walked past her and left the room. Vine stared after him for a few seconds in disbelief, then immediately whispered under her breath, jerk. After another painful struggle with the zipper, she somehow managed to close it herself, though slightly crooked. By the time she went downstairs, everyone was already waiting near the entrance hall. Jungkook's mother looked elegant in a dark formal dress while giving instructions to the staff. Meanwhile, Jaehyun and Yuri stood together nearby. The moment Yuri saw Vian wearing the silk gown, her expression changed slightly, because even with the swollen eyes and emotional exhaustion, Vian still looked beautiful. Jungkook's mother smiled softly, seeing her come downstairs. You look lovely. Vian gave a small polite note, then her eyes accidentally moved towards Jungkook, and for a brief moment he looked at her too. His gaze moved over the gown once quietly before looking away again, and somehow that one glance alone made her suddenly aware of the crooked zipper behind her back. Soon the cars were arranged outside. Jaehyun and Yuri left together in one car, while Jungkook's mother guided Vian towards the second one where Jungkook sat waiting already inside. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune.
Every breath feels borrowed, but tonight the world's in tune. Old chair horns beneath me, plank boards keep the time. Old chair horns beneath me, plank boards keep the time. If this sound ain't perfect, that's how it's mine. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Static sings the harmony. I couldn't ask for more. Let the porch light burn uneven, let the shadows play. Yeah, the porch light burn uneven, keep the night from drifting away. If this ain't heaven, it'll do for today. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Every breath feels borrowed, but tonight the world's in tune. Chair horns beneath me, plank boards keep the time. Old chair horns beneath me, plank boards keep the time. If this sound ain't perfect, that's how it's mine. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Static sings the harmony. I couldn't ask for more. Let the porch light burn uneven, let the shadows play. Yeah, the porch light burn uneven, keep the night from drifting away. If this ain't heaven, it'll do for today. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Every breath feels borrowed, but tonight the world's in tune. Mm, Old chair hums beneath me, playing boards keep the time. Old chair hums beneath me, playing boards keep the time. If this sounding perfect, that's how it's mine. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Static sings the harmony. I couldn't ask for more. Let the porch light burn uneven. Let the shadows play. Yeah, the porch light burn uneven. Keep the night from drifting away. If this ain't heaven, it'll do for today. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Porch light flicker on the siding, moths dancing like they know the tune. Every breath feels borrowed, but tonight the world's in tune. Chair hums beneath me, playing boards keep the time. Old chair hums beneath me, playing boards keep the time. If this sounding perfect, that's how it's mine. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Someone left the radio humming low next door. Static sings the harmony. I couldn't ask for more. Let the porch light burn uneven.